Our talk, inshallah, today is to examine the reasons for deviating from the truth that was revealed clearly in the Quran and the Sunnah, and how this can happen regardless of the simplicity and the appearance rationality of the truth. In answering this question, we find no one can deny that the truth is obvious and its path is clear and straight, as Muhammad, peace be upon him, defined it. Imam Ahmad, Al-Hakim, and others narrated on the authority of Ibn Mas'ud that he said that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, drew a line with his hand, a straight line with his hand, and said, "This is the straight path of Allah, straight and clear." Then the Prophet drew lines on its right and on its left, drew other lines around that straight line that he said, "This is the clear path of Allah." And he said, "These are other pathways, and none of these pathways unless a devil invites to it." This is the corrupt ways and corrupt paths that people might take. But the straight path is very clear and straight, the straight path of Allah. Then the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, after this simple illustration, recited Surah Al-An'am 153, said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Verily, this is my way leading straight." Allah is talking. "This is my way leading straight. Follow it. Follow not other paths. They will scatter you about from his path. Thus does he command you that you may be righteous." In this hadith, we find it obvious that misguidance comes from following other pathways, which the devil construct, assemble, and invite other to it. Dear brothers and sisters, guidance of the devil and his evil ways do not settle in the hearts, and it doesn't become success unless people are ignorant with the true guidance of their faith. Ignorance with the true guidance of the faith. People claim to be Muslims, say in word that they are Muslim, but they are clearly ignorant with the straightforward guidance of the faith. Ignorance with the divine guidance of the faith is the main reason to deviate from and contradict the truth of what Muhammad, peace be upon him, revealed to all of us. Ignorance of the faith can be divided into two categories. First, a simple ignorance, simple state of ignorance, which is a result of lack of learning and attending circles of knowledge. If the sister who have the child can take the child outside so everybody can focus, inshallah. So can the sister take the child outside, inshallah? First, simple ignorance, which is a result of lack of learning and attending circle of knowledge, inquiring from true scholars about everyday challenges, or it can also materialize from suppression of the correct teaching of Islam, which are very prevalent in countries controlled by tyrants and unjust rulers. Second, a compound form of ignorance, which is the result of having and adopting beliefs which are not a true guidance of Islam. This is the compound ignorance, is to have a belief, a conviction of ideas that are not belonging, does not belong to Islam in any shape or form. An ignorance of the habit and the will of Allah for his creation, which become visible in our shortcomings in dealing with trials as the divine guidance of Allah command. And that was the subject of the last khutbah. All the last khutbah was dedicated to that issue. Simple ignorance is less challenging and less damaging as its owner might see the light, follow the Quran, learn, and actually put himself back on the straight path of Allah and the correct faith. But compound ignorance and understanding the faith with the wrong interpretation is hard and almost impossible to reverse, and its owner remain misguided regardless of all the flags of truth before him. Unfortunately, when a wrong conviction transpires, it's hard to see the truth. And that is the misery of those who have that compound form of ignorance which they claim to be a Muslims. Being plagued with compound ignorance is the result of learning Islam from the wrong sources and away from its pure and correct substance, receiving ideas and input without investigating the source, like learning the faith from non-Muslims who learn about the faith and its language to misguide others, or using social media and search information about the faith from the net. Ask Google. This is true. It's not a joke. It is true and happening right now. Reading many corrupt subjects filled with twisted command, fabricated ahadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and made up supplication, which they actually interchange and ask one another to spread it, seeking more reward, not realizing that they are actually gaining discredit with Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, the ease of delivering information, true or corrupt, is among the most obvious characteristic of our time. The fact that led many of our youth, of the Muslim youth, to be exposed to many areas of confusing judgment and ignorance of the true divine command, which crossed all limits. Many of our youth has become attracted to voices of those who doubt the faith and follow their corrupt thinking, all because of wrong use and ease in seeking and exchanging knowledge and information. No one want to do the effort to investigate who provide the information, and that can lead to a lot of problems. The trial of misinformation. This is a trial, my dear brothers and sisters. Trial of misinformation that surrounds us from all aspects, from everywhere. This trial of misinformation and spreading corrupt guidance of the faith was illustrated by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 14th century ago. It was narrated in both Sahih, on the authority of Usama ibn Zayd, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was overlooking from an elevated area outside Medina, looking at his own town from an elevated area. And he said to his companion, "Do you see what I see?" The answer, of course, no. The Prophet replied, "I can see trials that fall between your homes as raindrops fall from the sky. Trials will transpire and will be going to you into your homes. You don't have to leave your house. Trials will reach you, will bring trouble into your hearts." That's what the Prophet Muhammad was seeing 14th century ago. Trials descending between the homes in Medina as the raindrops descend from the sky. In this hadith, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made the parallel of the trial falling in abundance with raindrops that are plenty and cover a large area. In our time that we live today, think about it. We find the parallel of these descending raindrops with trials that descend from satellites to all the outlets of information and broadcast media, which we read, we watch, we listen to, as well as the internet, the mobile device that we carry and we have in our homes, that carry information in the form of corrupt, altered, twisted, and misleading guidance of our faith, coming directly to our homes We don't have to leave our homes. We don't have to be misguided by going somewhere. We actually carrying it around us everywhere we go. Corrupt information that descend to all homes and everywhere like rains coming down from the sky. We find that this to be a miracle among the miracles of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, predicting events that we face as believers. The trial of faith, my dear brothers and sisters, this is the hardest of a hardship that any true Muslim can go through is doubt, and those who create doubt. Explaining or interpreting the hadith this way, even if it differs from the explanation of the early scholar, has the priority as we find the world with its reality that we live today. Satellites that exist, that actually circle the earth, dropping information that transpire into all the devices, from TV, from computers, from tablets, radios, any outlet of information. He who takes a closer look to our challenges today would recognize the danger of corrupt media, sites, and sources in stirring up falsehood and doubt, turning truth into lies and lies into truth. They create doubt of the fact, planting corrupt interpretation of the divine guidance of Allah in the mind and the heart of our youth, claiming that it is authentic truth which the trusted scholar, that actually the trusted scholar conceal. They present the lies as truth that the trusted scholar, the four scholars, concealed. Many of the youth, as well as many adults, possess a heart that it is like a dry sponge. Imagine a dry sponge. If exposed to any source of water, it will absorb it, regardless of this water is pure and clean or tainted and filthy one. That's what happened in reality. This filthy and tainted water form the content of the heart and its reality and its belief and conviction, which almost impossible to change, alter, or get rid of. Imam al-Ghazali, a well-known scholar who is solid in his faith and knowledge, was described by his student Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi when he said, our Imam, referring to Imam al-Ghazali, our Imam learned and studied the knowledge of the philosopher. And when he wanted to reject and get rid of these thoughts, he was not able to. When you develop a belief, corrupt or good, it's hard to change. My dear brothers and sisters, the only outlet, the only hope, the only way to combat such a hardship, the trial of belief itself, is to receive the knowledge of faith from the rightful sources and to spend more effort seeking a well-known and established scholar who are knowledgeable of the correct divine guidance of Allah, and not those who are imposters who claim knowledge. And we are faced with a lot of them in our time, not only on TV, but you meet him and you see him every day, those who claim knowledge that they do not have any foundation of or any correct source of. Do not expose your heart to those who want to create doubt and suspicion among those wicked frauds who claim knowledge throughout the satellite and the internet, and those also you might meet in person. If the heart is exposed to doubt, suspicious, and falsehood, turn into a mirror which reflect what's in it and turn into an avenue of trial and wickedness. If you open your heart to all this misguided information, your heart will be like an avenue for hardship, for more heartache and more trouble that you can spare yourself. This is the only way, my dear brothers, to save yourself. in these circumstances and in this reality that we live today. And please do not consider any other outlet other than trying to verify where you get your information from and where the reliable and most trusted scholar that put the foundation of our faith in explanation and in details. Do not try to do it on your own. You cannot ask, and we cannot ask of you to investigate, explore, differ the truth from the wickedness, and to take the truth and reject it, and reject what is wicked, as you cannot do that on your own without a solid foundation and basis of education of the correct divine guidance of Allah. Be careful, my dear brothers and sisters, as one issue of doubt can settle in the heart and soil your faith, soil the core of your faith and belief. Oh Allah, make us believers who apply what we hear. Oh Allah, show us the truth and give us the wisdom to see it and to follow it. Oh Allah, show us the evil as evil and give us the wisdom not to follow it. Oh Allah, bless us with your guidance and lead us to what pleases you. Assalamu alaikum.